Hello, everyone. You are watching God, Sex, and Love live. As you can see, I am here with two lovely ladies, Miss Regina. Hey, girl.
Hey,
And also Miss Summer Sims. Hey.
hey,
Welcome back, ladies. Welcome back. I mean, it's been quite a while since GSL has done a panel discussion, so this is quite exciting that it's a girl chat getting us back in the game. So thank you, ladies, so much for taking out the time.
Thank you for having me. I'm loving the blue lipstick. You know that's my favorite color.
Oh, I mean, well, trying to, help be a brand ambassador out here, so I'm repping bold face cosmetics.
I
So I figured I
see
might,
it. God family lipstick. Yes. Yeah.
I figured I could wear that with my girls and y'all will get it. Yes. So, okay, ladies. So as you all can see, Miss Summers already chiming in because this discussion today is inspired by some questions that she had. And so, as she asked her question, I was inspired to think of this idea: men ask, women answer. So that's what the whole theme tonight is: questions that men have asked that we as women can answer. It's very interesting because I found some things online, so that's some places where some of these came from. Some of Simmer's questions are in here as well. Some other questions came from there's this group I'm part of. Y'all know Miss Denise's Gilbert's group. It's called Let's Be Clear. So some questions came from there as well that I noticed that men threw out there for the women. And then I did get a few questions from some men that sent questions because this week I put a post out asking for men to give us questions. So I think there's some quite interesting stuff. I mean, there's some stuff had to be edited for this GSL crowd because I was like, Lord, I can't ask it like that, but we won't ask it the best way possible. And I put it in my juice wine glass. Thanks to my mom for giving me this. This is one of my birthday gifts. You say the juice on it. So that's where the notes is in this glass right here. Y'all ready, ladies? I don't know. Are y'all ready?
You ready?
We
Okay,
ready.
well,
We
let's
stay
go.
ready.
And if you're watching us live, feel free to chime in as well. And you might see your comment on the screen. All right, ladies, several questions in here. I'm shaking it up real good. First question of the night. Men ask, women answer. Why do women base a guy by his look over his personality?
The same reason they do. We visual creatures too. I mean, really?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you, Miss Regina. What you say, girl?
I said, hold on, let me see if I can turn myself up just a little bit more.
Yeah, we're gonna make sure you all the way up.
Make sure I'm all the way up.
Yes, the volume.
Lord. Technology issues is real. Okay,
What
can
was
you
that?
hear me
I
better?
can. I mean, well, if the people can hear you, that's all that really matter, I guess. But I just want to make sure.
Well,
What was you saying now?
I was simply saying that they have the same perspective. So why is it that they can, base a woman off of her looks, and we do the same thing, and it's a whole
Uh-huh.
problem. You need to,
Come on,
I'm a
church.
good
Come
man.
on, church.
I can do this. I can do that.
Well,
I'm a this. Okay, great. But there's some beautiful women on the inside that our beauty expounds who we are, enhances, excuse me. Well, it does expound too, but enhances us on the outside to the point where we're beauty all the way around, but our butt is not that big and our breast ain't that big. And we ain't got the weave down to our butt or our ankles. We ain't rocking artificial nails. I get it. Men and women are visual creatures. But what kind of question is that? Like, why are y'all like that? That. So I'm mute. I'm going on mute.
okay, Miss Regina. Ew. Look, she fighting back. She want to know why y'all like that. That's what she said. The question is, what you got to say, Miss Summer?
Okay, well, I'm with you, Gina, on that. Y'all, men are very visual creatures, so they do base 90% of what they're looking for on what they're looking at.
Mm,
So, unfortunately, there's, like you said, a lot of great women who get passed up because they're not physically as appealing to them as they would
mm,
like them to be. I would say personally, I don't even do that. I don't even base my choice on a full physical appearance. But I did hear Annie White. I don't know if y'all have heard of her, but she gives a lot of relationship advice online on Instagram.
mm,
And she says, hey, women, stop not picking men that you're not physically attracted to.
mm.
Uh, if you're physically attracted to a man, that's what you're supposed to be looking for. So I would just have to say, I don't think that happens as commonly as the question was asked.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's something that a lot of women do because I think a lot of women pick men off of what qualities they want out of a man. More so like, are they a stable man? Are they gonna really be in the relationship with me opposed to all over the community? I don't think
Mm,
we're like rushing for the most attractive, physically attractive man, like the question was presented. So
mm-hmm.
I'll just leave it at that. I don't
Okay,
think women
and
do
yeah,
that.
I'm not mad at you ladies. I'm not mad at y'all at all. I would say that I agree with a lot of things you guys are saying. I guess if I'm just answering the question straight up, if it was just me alone, I mean, I guess I could see where the person is coming from to a certain extent, just because I'm just like, okay, I think back to my dating days, right? And I was like, there were times now, mind you, I feel like my type was a little open. I wasn't like, oh, he has to be this and that in regards to, oh, he has to be light skin or dark skin and all that. My only physical attribute at the time was taller than me, and I find him attractive, you know. And I think again, as they say, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Like just all three of us look different here, but I feel like all three of us are beautiful in our own ways, and man who's going to appreciate each one of us as individual will see and appreciate that, So um, yeah, it's just one of those things. I mean, I think, yeah, I guess sometimes people feel as if you see a lot of people, which you do, you see a lot of people dating out here, and then you're like, oh, well, this is the type of people they're going for. But like Miss Regina was saying, like, there are some women that don't have all the extra, right? And at the end of the day, if we're gonna keep it real, those women that have all the extra don't have all the extra either, because they're either getting the surgeries or they're getting the wigs or they're getting all these things added to them.
Fact.
So but I mean, I'm finding a lot of men folk that appreciate natural, because y'all know already. I done told y'all my husband don't necessarily like me wearing makeup and all that. Now I like, what I'm saying, but and I do it every now and then, but obviously it's for shows. But I don't know. So there's different types of people out here, and so unfortunately, maybe that person is just coming across people that are constantly looking at them and then saying no.
It come from rejection. That's all that is. And men don't like being rejected. That's facts. I don't know who does like being rejected, but
I
we
think men take it a lot harder than women do because we get
Mm,
rejected quite a bit as women. I mean, coming up, you can't tell because maybe the way the light is shining on me right now, but I was a super chocolate kid,
mm,
and guys would
mm,
say, you're pretty for a dark skinned girl.
mm.
Like, that's not rejection.
Yeah,
what is up
yeah,
with that?
that's rude. That's
But
rude.
I
And I
didn't
actually
I
just
didn't
pushed in
feel
there
any
that I
kind of
think.
way about my skin tone because
Hmm.
that was happening. But it did make me feel like what does my color got to do with my facial features? There's a lot
Mm,
of fair skinned people who I don't find attractive.
hmm.
It's like it doesn't matter what color you put on them. What they face look like is still their face on any skin tone. So I'm
And
sorry,
that
I'm
was
just
the thing for me. Like when I was dating, I just was like, okay, if I don't find this person attractive, then I don't know if I can be in a relationship with them. But again, that doesn't mean that, because maybe I'm with somebody that y'all don't find attractive, for example. You know what I mean? So it's up to someone who's ever looking and whatnot. If they find you attractive, then I think maybe that's the thing that can kind of. I mean, it was important for me because you know what, I boiled it down to. I was like, okay, wait, I'm gonna have to look at this person every day, right? And I don't want to be with somebody. And okay, I'm wrong.
Turn
I'm
on
wrong.
And be like,
I'm gonna have to look at him every day. You know what I'm saying? So I want to at least be attracted to. You know what I'm saying? Let me stop. Let me stop. All right. So, I guess this is one that you brought to the table, Miss Summer. It says men sleeping around. Men says that sleeping around is bragging rights, but it's not the same for women. Women need to be exclusive because no one wants a woman who's been quote unquote ran through. So I guess the question is, why do men think that women want a man that's been ran through or done a whole bunch of running? Maybe you can put it that way. Or and why in 2021 is this still the case? So I mean, do you want to be first to comment on this, Miss Summer, or what?
don't mind if I do. So, so okay, just to even make this question even more crystal clear, since I asked it. Okay, guys, in 2021, I'm just concerned. I'm like legitimate. I'm not even irritated at this point. I'm just very concerned with what we're teaching our sons in 2021. We're like a month into almost to 2022, and I just cannot fathom that with all the diseases, all of the different things going on in the world, that we would still be teaching our young men and young boys that they shouldn't respect themselves. It is about the respect for your temple. If we're gonna talk about God, God said only women should respect their bodies. God said, and if we're gonna talk about God, let's bring God all the way in. God said all of us are supposed to respect our temples and use our bodies as a living sacrifice unto Him.
holy and acceptable.
Only thing I can tell you is what the words say, honey. Yeah, get that tea down. Because I'm trying to understand why you think, as men, that part don't apply to you. Why don't it apply to you? Just like how I can't remember who the man was who got the Jezebel for the wife, and he kept asking, well, why do I get the Jezebel? Okay, so I don't remember where that scripture is, but y'all will find it and give you a reference if you need it. But it was about the guy who was looking for his wife, and then God pointed him to the Jezebel. And then he was like, I don't want her. She's not for me. Like, she's a Jezebel. Obviously, I don't want her. And then he was like, no, she's valuable. So I say this to you, just like a man wants to be loved, respected, treated like a king, whatever, no matter what his pursuits were prior to him getting married, a woman wants the same things. You don't know. There's people or women out here who have been placed in situations that was beyond their control of how many men they could sleep with. And men don't get that. There's women who have been just like that case, Miracle, that you were following with the girl who was into sex trafficking. There's women who have been molested. There are women who have experienced a great deal of sexual traumas. And so their list is not exclusivity, and it's not necessarily their fault that they are not a super virgin for you. But let me ask you this. If the world was surrounded or filled with women who didn't have any kind of sexual appetite until they were married, then men wouldn't be able to be sluts.
That part.
So are you really saying you want an exclusive woman, or are you really saying by the time you stop being what do you call it, you want the woman that you end up with after you've been rolling the streets to not have anything that seems like a past that will make you look like less of the big man? And for me, it's like, well, isn't it a big man for you to be respecting your temple from the beginning and give me the opportunity to have a man that's exclusive and not a community proposition for the rest of the? Like, I want a man that I don't go to the Kroger and 10 women in there has already had you. And then you wonder why women are insecure in relationships. Well, maybe they're insecure in that relationship because your body has been everywhere. And we don't know if these are new pursuits or old pursuits. We just know everyone can walk up to you and say that they've been there and done that. And that's not cute or classy, gentlemen. So, how about this is my suggestion? You ain't got to listen to me. However, if you do heed some words, heed the word of using your temple as a living sacrifice, because you can't argue with the truth. And then how about beyond that, pass that message along? Because there's a lot of men who are sexually abusing, don't realize they are, because the men in their lives are telling them that it's okay to have sex with old women, young women, all types of women at every age. They don't even tell them when to begin to um find a woman to share themselves with. At 6, 7, 8, 9 years old, these young boys have had sex, and if it was a young lady, they would say that that's sexual assault, especially if the woman is older than them or the male is older than them. So I say let's look at it in the same respects, because that's why these families are broken up, because these men are sleeping with women just for sexual pursuit, not to make a family. So when that woman gets impregnated, he doesn't stick around because he wasn't in love. He wasn't trying to make a family or a home with her. So when he does that 12 times and he got 12 kids out here, we supposed to let him get away with it and not demand that he sticks around and raise these kids that he has created? Make it make some sense, gentlemen. I'm gonna that.
Wow.
I mean, you got something to add to that, Miss Regina? Because I mean, I don't
I
know if I got
mean,
anything.
I agree. You know what's good for the goose is good for the gander. You
That
know,
phrase was in my head as she was
I
talking.
have
That's
to
so
tell
funny.
you, Spidey senses activate. Holy Spirit, activate. Listen,
Love it.
my
Yes,
whole
I
thing
mean, and
is
that's the thing. This conversation can go with so many levels. I mean, because
right, right.
the whole talk about polygamy and everything. It's like, oh my gosh, like I don't know. Some of this might touch on some of that. So let me just go on back to the jar. I'm going
I do
going
want
back to
to
the
say
whiskey.
something.
That
I
say
want
the
to
truth.
add to what Summer has said about the
Hmm.
fact that, the word doesn't say that it's gender specific, because we know in the kingdom, in the spirit realm, there is not female, or there's not male or female, Greek nor Jew,
Hmm.
circumcised or uncircumcised. That's going with the word. So I appreciate that Summer even brought that scripture up, about, Lord, I present my body as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto you, which is my reasonable service, right? But the word tells us that our bodies is the temple of the Holy Spirit. So men are, to Summer's point, men are concerned about having a woman that is open, wide open, and all that other stuff. But I'm concerned on whether or not you're being a whoremonger and you don't have any more seed that can fertilize my eggs.
Well,
So that part,
yeah.
that's all I'm gonna say on that. I'm
Hmm.
just saying,
Yeah,
I
man.
don't.
I mean, it's definitely important. It's again, people just look at sex like it's this thing you just do, but it's a lot deeper. I mean, it can hit on a
Right,
whole lot of levels. So here we
right.
go. This one says, "What do you think of the level of entitlement that some women have when it comes to the belief that they should have a right to a man's money?" There's other questions that go along with this one. It says, "Are those women serious? Where did she get this idea? Is it okay? And would you consider something like this?"
I'll try to be concise with this one.
Okay.
Simply because there are women in certain countries. I'll thank you. I'll go to the culture aspect of it. Some cultures, women do believe that they're entitled to that, and we're talking about whether it's white, Asian, black, other countries, whatever the case is. Some women have grown up like that because that's what they've seen in their household. So to me, that is one perspective of it, of why women feel entitled. But then you also deal with the woman who has never had anything, to where she feels that she's entitled to take. First and foremost, if the man is not your husband, you're not entitled to anything, period, point blank. Let me put it that way. And we have to get to a place, and I'm equal opportunity, when I come on these panels or anytime I talk, equal opportunity. So I feel that men expect women to have sex with them and they're not married to them. Then why can't a woman sit up here and say, hey, can you pay my bill? It's something, you know what I'm saying? There's something wrong with that dynamic. Men have to stop having things one way. And then when they come across a woman that she feels she entitled, or she thinks she entitled, well, then what have you entitled yourself to? Because truthfully speaking, it goes both, like I said, it goes both ways, of course. But I think maybe 80% of women out here that actually, whether in a relationship or not, they don't go into it having this sense of entitlement in the first place. They want to be able to know, hey, I count on you. That's what we should be able to do. But having a sense of entitlement to money and all this other stuff, baby, we ain't married. And even if we are married, not necessarily am I entitled to that. You work hard for your money. I work hard for my money. We supposed to be in a partnership.
Yeah.
So that's what I have to say to that.
I mean, just to piggyback real quick, I ain't got much to add. I'm just gonna say, yeah, I agree with Regina on that last point, because I don't necessarily feel entitled to my husband's money. Like, I mean, yeah, we have accounts together, whatever the case is. Yeah, we got general plans about like how we take care of bills and whatnot. But I mean, so I guess I've never been that type of woman, but I do understand that there are women that, feel that way. And so, again, maybe these people are dealing with a certain type of woman, right? And yeah, I mean, that's it. That's it. So go ahead, girl. Go ahead, girl.
Okay, I'm gonna be real quick because there's probably some other questions that's gonna touch on this. But I just want to say that, just to Gina's point, absolutely, they entitle themselves to our vagina. And then they should be able to get in and get out as freely and frequently as they want. And I'm going to just say that a lot of people feel a lot of sense of entitlements these days than they used to, because you want to bring me, you're entitled, you as males feel like you're entitled to the old school values that you saw your grandparents have or whatnot. Like you saw your grandma cooking and cleaning for this man. But what you all got to understand is that man was paying all the bills. Sis wasn't going to work. That's why her contribution as a partnership was to keep the home.
Come on.
Children. But y'all don't got no children in this home. You don't pay not a dime on the bills. Not even you don't even want to put a grocery in there, but you want her to cook a meal. Then you want to come slide through, not feed her kids, make sure her kids is straight, that they at the house, because she already got kids. A lot of us already have kids. Then you come through, you don't want to contribute anything, but you want her to start treating you as a husband or a king of her establishment, where you have contributed absolutely nothing. And I'll end it on, everybody wants to know what women are bringing to the table, but ask yourself, my good sir, do you have a table? Or do I need to build it, set it, and put the food on it? You tell me.
Woo, sir, do you have a table? You ain't even got a pot to piss in.
Never drop the mic right there. That she might drop that one.
No, right here. Do you have a table?
Do you have one, sir? I love it. I love it. Look, men ask, women answer. This next one here says, how important is conversation to you? That's the reason why we have one now. It's very important.
Because here's the thing. If we don't talk, how do we know just the basics of each other? Like who I am as a person. See, we've gotten to the point where everything's so 100% superficial. We ain't even talking no more. You look good. Now we texting. We very, we ain't picking up the phone no more to make a conversation or a call to get to know somebody. We sending a text or a DM or whatever. And then when we meet up, people ain't going on dates no more. They saying meet me at my house, come by the house, or I'll come by yours. Why is that how we start our first interaction in private together? Is you come to my house or I'm coming to yours? Honey, you just invited me to your bedroom, love. That's when are we gonna talk? And my sexual desires come from a person who's genuinely interested in who I am and me finding what we have in common. And then I'm turned on by that, not by you just reaching out and touching what you feel like should turn me on. So that's my point.
So I have a question, right?
Uh-huh.
Did the question say communication or conversation? Before I answer, I want to make sure that I get clarity on the question that was asked. Is communication important or is conversation important? Which one
Oh,
did the
well, it said conversation, but to be honest, it was a part of like one of those multiple part questions. Um, and it had something along the lines. It was like I basically I think the woman made I had the impression that like asking your color, like your favorite color and things like that isn't that question is in here somewhere. Asking your favorite question isn't like good conversation anymore. And um so it was followed by how important is conversation to you and something else. But I split them up. But that's where
oh,
the person was coming from.
you're fine. I wanted to make sure that I gave my answer based off of what the question is saying, but I am going to elaborate, of course, because that's what I do. Um, so here's the thing: conversation is very important, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you can only have, I would say, adequate conversation with an individual who values communication.
Mm,
If the
yes.
person does not value communication, your conversation is going to be solely based off of what they want to get out of it as an attachment. People are not looking for connections nowadays, they're looking for attachments. And anybody can have a conversation, right? Anybody
Mm-hmm.
can have a conversation, but it takes somebody who wants and desires and is looking for connection to be able to communicate with that individual. So, okay, um, let's say men are asking this question, okay, how important is conversation? Well, first of all, I'm not going to be on the phone with you and listening to you breathe. I mean, I can do that myself. I don't, come on now. But communication is equally important because if you're upset about something, I don't want to further piss you off. Just saying,
Mm-hmm.
I want to know that when you don't like something I said or did, that we have that type of relationship that you can be honest with me, and I appreciate the communication you gave. But it's
Mm-hmm.
always an opportunity for great conversation or whatever conversation to be had. The difference is do you want to have the honest conversations? And a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
don't. A lot of people don't. And I don't know why, but that bothers me because
Mm-hmm.
nobody is Cleo. My name is not Sylvia and Friends. I'm not a psychic. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, we got to get to a place, man and woman, where we're doing the work. To Summer's point, nobody's dating nowadays. How do we get into communication? How do we have conversations? Because surely, yes, a woman is a receiver sexually and a man is the giver sexually, but on the communication end, we're both. We're senders and receivers. So we
Mm-hmm.
need to embrace that.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say about that.
Hey, and you did, and hey, you got a lot of great points there, man. I mean, obviously, conversation is important. Any form of communication, especially in relationships, are important. So, if you can't talk to the person, really, you shouldn't be doing
Absolutely.
anything else with them. You know.
Because if there's no more sex,
Someone like you got something to add, or you want to move on? Yeah, move
Look,
on, move
I'm gonna
on.
save all of my good stuff. You know, I don't want to ruin it all in the beginning now. Cause if you ever seen me or talked to me before, you know I got a lot of thoughts.
oh, sit
You know, these questions too, man. I'm telling y'all, there's some stuff in here, so might need to take it up. Here's one. It's just a general one. It goes, how long is too long to be engaged?
6 months.
Oh, sweet baby Regina, you ready to walk down as soon as he asks, huh?
Listen, suddenly, the Lord said suddenly, I am longer than a year.
I'm gonna say this. It depends on what you are prepared to do. Like some people may get engaged and they want a real wedding. So, but they can't afford to have that like tomorrow. And they want their friends and family to be able to attend. And you need to give adequate time for those people to be able to, if they don't live in your city or whatever, to be able to have the time off and availability and be able to afford to plan to attend your union if that's what you're looking for. So I think it's more of a personal thing than as a like written in stone. Like I may don't want to be. Now I would say if you engage for 10 years, like then he's not going to marry you right away. Okay. So I'm just going to say if you're willing to wait 10 years on an engagement, you need to create a boundary because I wouldn't want a man to take 10 years of my life away and waste it. And then like most of the time, I won't say most of the time because I don't want to be too general, but I will say a lot of times when you see couples who are engaged for a lot of years, they end up not ever getting married because what's the saying? Why about it by the cow if you getting the milk for free?
Yep, that's the saying.
So if I'm already playing house for 10 years, there's
Right.
not going to be any urgency for a man to make you his wife. If you're living in his home, you've already had his children, you're cooking, cleaning, servicing, and doing all the wifely things without the actual process happening. So if you want to get married to somebody, I would say set that conversation with your partner. Hey, when I date with a purpose. And if we start a relationship, once we're engaged, I would like this marriage to happen within a certain window of time. And y'all agree on that and then just make it happen.
Make it
Yeah,
happen, Captain.
personally, I think anything over a year is kind of questionable. It's just me. I mean, I know when we were talking, when we got engaged, hubby did throw out 2 years, but then I was like, well, he didn't necessarily say, hey, 2 years, but he was like, hey, but how about in 2 years from now, basically. And I just was like, I don't know if I want to wait that long, And so we made it happen in the year. Like, I mean, we was engaged 1 year, we got married the next year. And I guess, and all things happen in good time. Because I mean, hey, MJ wouldn't be here and all this other stuff. So, just saying. And everybody was waiting on that to happen, y'all. I think someone was here to with something. Oh, goodness.
I was showing and I was like, pop one out real quick for me.
Oh, Lord. Everybody was so ready, and I was over here like, look, man, I'm trying to get some stuff together. Like, can I get some things off the ground first? Like, okay, well. This one says, why do women want their man to help maintain the household, cooking and cleaning?
Cause man, it's a partnership. What the
This is all out.
heck? She did. She done.
I'm there. All I can say is I died real quick and now I'm back. All right.
It's a partnership. What the heck? I mean, unless there's some type of agreement where, babe, you wash the dishes, I'll do the laundry, something like that. But come on, man, it's a partnership.
Listen, as the
I
woman
want
in
to
this
know
household,
who as a woman or man or whomever wakes up and say, I can't wait to be a slave today. You know what? I can't wait to slave after a man who does zero nothing, but come home and sit on his hiney.
I'm gonna go.
And in that part. Now, especially, all right, first of all, I don't mind doing chores, but we're in 2021, my loves. I need y'all to hear me, baby boys. Y'all don't pay all the bills and leave a woman at home that don't have to work. That's why you gotta wash your own dish, fool. You dumb. You just dumb for no reason, just stupid. Okay, why do you need to wash your dirty drawers? Because they dirty, baby. And everybody at work. Everyone's at work now. Because you can't do it by yourself. Remember? Remember when you asked her for half the rent? Remember when you asked her for half the lights? Remember when you asked her to kill the goat, fry the goat, and serve them to you? She's busy, stupid. That's why. I hate to say stupid like y'all stupid, but y'all stupid. I'm gonna move on.
Well, from my perspective, right, as the only woman in my household, I got a 3-year-old son and my husband. Listen, I can clean or I can get it clean, whatever. It don't matter because it'll be right back the way it was a week later. And listen, now I can't say, I can't blame them totally, but I mean, all I know is when I do cook or something like that, I'll be cleaning as I cook. Now my husband ain't like that. He be when doing it, what I'm saying, creating, which is great. I appreciate
Is it not that the men are messy just like they're messy? Because you're messy. How about you clean up? Because
I'm gonna need you to
even if you pay for somebody to come outsource that, like my big question on that is, why is it that you want the woman to do the inside the house stuff and the outside of the house stuff? That's the real question. If you want me to cook and clean, I'll do it. Is that my only job? Now, if you telling me to go work 8, 10, 12 hours, come home and not be tired enough to clean up after your mess because you want to watch the game. Hell, I want to watch Friends or whatever it is I like. I want to sit down and do that. How about that? And then, Lord forbid, you got a kids, 1 or 2 kids that run around the house that's created extra mess. I'm tired. I don't even want to look at this kid. Matter of fact, why the kid ain't asleep if I came home after you? Why? Why you can't help? Why? Help. That's why. It is not fair to put all that burden on one person, especially in a day and age where it takes 2 people to work to provide for the home. So if we both got to go outside the house, then we both should work inside the house too, because that's only fair. And I don't want to clean up just like you don't want to clean up. I don't want to do that. So make more money. How about that? That's my solution. Make more money so we can pay for Molly the maid.
Ooh, 6 figures.
Listen,
Curtis the cook. Molly the maid, Curtis the cook. Hire them. And if we can't afford them, then I'm going to say it's more, what are you doing wrong, sir? How many jobs do you need? Because you need another one.
oh Lord. I mean, don't get me wrong. Yeah, well, I know we got your other question in here, so maybe we'll get to it. Maybe we'll get to it. I won't start touching on that part. Did you say your part, Regina? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay. Okay, I'm just making sure I ain't want to cut you out, sis.
No.
All right, this next one. Ladies, y'all on fire tonight. Why are so many offended? Wait, why are so many women offended by a man's personal preference?
Because they're not the ones chosen. Okay, I'm sorry. That just came right now. Okay. The reason why. Okay, so I can only speak for myself, right? Because I don't speak for all women. I am a 100% woman. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I can only speak for this woman.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily offended by the preference, but I am offended when you act as if you want to be in a relationship with me and then you come out your mouth with, hey, friend and sister. Now that's what I have a problem with. Right. Your face is exactly how my face would be. So the preference thing, it goes back to, I think, one of our first questions. Men are visual. I don't think that women are necessarily offended by it, but just like, huh? But we're supposed to accept you how you are. We have to be the I don't know why the word build a bear is coming to me, but we have to be the ones to build a man. And then you go off and you do whatever. That might be why we offended, by your preference, because you choose the big booty Judies. I got a little something back there, so I ain't hating on them. But I'm like, you choose the big booty Judies and the 36, 24, 36 or whatever. And then you cry. Then the one that you wind up having an affair with is a woman that look like me because she know how to talk to you and treat you. So the problem is that we're not offended with your preference. We're offended with the fact that you even think that you know more than we do. We're the one that you should choose first. I'm just saying. But you go for what's visual. You don't go for, glory be to God. You go for what you want and not for what you need. And what you need is going to help you process as a man. What you want is what you want. But mark my words, Regina, I ain't gonna say my whole name. I ain't say my government. People might be looking for me. I was playing. As sure as my name is Regina, I believe that every woman wants to be everything that a man needs and wants. But men have to be more intentional about who they choose. You need to, if you are a man that does not know your purpose, you need to just sit down somewhere for a minute. You do. And it ties into this question because we're offended. We're offended by your preference because after the girl run you dry, then you want to come to the person that you should have been with in the first place. That's offensive. You knew from the beginning that she was the one that you should have been with, but because she got hips, lips, and fingertips, you don't do what you know to do that's right. You waste 10 years with the wrong one only to come back to the one that you should have been with in the first place. And you better hope that she's still available, because if she ain't, baby, I don't know what to tell you. That's my spill on it. That's
Yo,
my
y'all
insight.
be coming with the quotes, man. Look, we need to put y'all on t-shirts out here, man. Look, you go ahead and say what you got to say, Miss Summer, before
Do
I let the
you
folks say my
know
little piece. I ain't got too much to say.
Toby? Do you know it's an artist named Toby Nwigwe or something like that. I can't pronounce his last name right. But he's a new artist. And I just like this morning watched something about the love story between him and his wife. And um he on their love story, he was mentioning how he was they met at church and she saw him and was like, man, he's for me. And he saw her and was like, she's not it. Like, she don't look the way I want. She not physically, all of these very surface things. And he told her straight up, I want to be in a relationship, just not with you. You ain't my type. You ain't what I'm looking for. He was very, as a matter of fact, toward her. With, I feel like, not a very high regard for her feelings. However, I would prefer for you to be just straight up than to trick me. But 5 years she was his friend, or really just basically boosted his ego, even though he was not physically attracted to her. Like, he kind of made it seem like she was an ugly duckling who, after being around him so many years, formed into like a swan that was worth his time at that point. It was kind of very, very arrogant stance. And I feel like a lot of men have that. I'm not offended if a man don't choose me, sweetheart. Everybody got a different set of tastes.
Hello.
So that's not really offensive to me to not be chosen. But what is offensive, as to what Gina was saying, is when you think that I'm not good enough to be your woman, your wife, your front and center, but you want to lay in my bed. You want to partake in all the things that your woman supposed to give you. If I'm not physically appealing to you, then why is my vagina appealing? Don't make no sense. And then this is why babies end up happening. And then they be like, oh, my baby mama ain't my type. Well, she was your type on Sunday night, wasn't she? When you lay down with her.
Oh, Jesus.
Well.
So is it that we mad that we ain't being chosen, or are we mad that our feelings and emotions and stuff has been played with?
That part.
Mm.
So that's what I gotta
There
say.
is a difference. There is a difference.
That's amazing. Both of you ladies came from different perspectives when it comes to that. And I think it's awesome that you all share both of those because again, they needed to be heard. They needed to be heard out here. I guess my only perspective is I agree. I think we've all have said this. I'm not necessarily offended by a preference, right? Um, but I think what is offensive about it is when the person put out there that everything else isn't of value. And that's a nice way to put it. You know what I mean? Like your preference is everything. Your preference is, oh, this is this, that, and the other. I think your preference can be your preference, but you don't gotta post online about it and then down everybody else in the process.
Right.
Like I mean, you're gonna get people to be offended because all kinds of people are going to see whatever it is. You're gonna see your post, they're gonna see that thing. So have your preference by all means. I mean, again, I had taller than me as my preference, right? But I didn't go around to every man, nah, actually, nah, you know what, you too short for me. I didn't, I still had, I mean, it was kind of open. I mean, there was a couple of guys that was shorter that I talked to or whatever. But again, I never made it a big old thing where I just was like announcing it everywhere and saying, "Oh, I only go for tall men." Like if I do something like that, then yeah, I probably am going to offend the short man, for example. So it's the same for women. If you're going to put out there that I only date X, Y, and Z, fill it in with whatever you want to. You put it out there, then yeah, everybody that's not X, Y, and Z is probably going to feel away. And that's because you put it out there. Just keep your purpose to yourself and date accordingly, in my little humble opinion. So I don't know. That's my perspective on it. That's all I got to say about that. Let's see. Let's get us another one in here, ladies. Oh my
I'm
goodness.
so proud of myself. Aren't you proud of me, Miracle?
Yeah, y'all doing a wonderful job. Yes, man. Look, I don't know if we're gonna go through all of these or not. It's up to y'all and y'all's time. I don't want to keep y'all on here. Y'all like, look, got other stuff to do. Well, let's see. Do you find that people are good conversationalists these days? So that goes in with that conversation question. We can just say yes or no on this one so we can go ahead and move on. So yes or no, do you find that people are good conversationalists these days?
No.
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 Oh, moving on. All right. Let me get one of these.
That's a hard no for me.
Let's see. All right. This one says, oh Lord. Grandmas cook 2 or 3 meals. We already talked about this. Y'all can let me know if you want to answer it. If not, you can just say pass. Grandmas cook 2 or 3 meals a day for multiple people, cleaning the house and washing clothes. What happened to
pass?
They said they already answered that, dog. They already answered it. Look, Gina left the conversation. She left the conversation on that one. Listen, I don't want to answer that at all. Ooh. Oh, yeah. Y'all probably done seen this one, y'all. Regina, are you there or no? Is she there? I think she still might be there. Okay.
I think
Well, I'm
she
going to go
turned
ahead
it
and answer.
off by accident.
Oh, okay. No worries. I'll just ask the question then. Here goes. So y'all probably have seen this asked on social media. It's been like shared around. So this is like a what would you do question. Okay. I got an invitation to go to my cousin's wedding. Have y'all seen this one? No. Okay. I got an invitation to go to my cousin's wedding. She's getting married to the man I was engaged to.
What?
He cheated with her. My aunt, the cousin's mom, my aunt, the cousin's mom, is trying to convince me to go to the wedding because family is all we have. What would you do, ladies?
That answer is no. Uh, awkwardness much?
This is a
Yeah,
dumb.
I'm gonna have to be petty on that one. I ain't
This is
going.
dumb. This is just dumb. Do we get to pass this? Do we?
Yeah.
Because it's just dumb. It's like, first of all, my level of like, I might not have cared about the dude, but let's talk about this. Ain't got really nothing to do with this whack dude, because this dude is completely whack to date all of my family members. However, the cousin is whack, and since we don't even talk anymore, if you've been dating my ex, so have a nice day. That's it.
There you go. There you have it. That's what we do. I went on a date. You might have seen this. I don't know. I went on a date with this guy, and he paid for himself alone because I brought two of my friends. Who's wrong?
Are these people slow or retarded? Like, I hate to use the word retarded, but these are stupid questions. Are these people 12 and 13? Because why are you bringing friends to a date with a dude?
Thank you.
I don't understand that. Are you trying to get to know the dude, or are you trying to have a girls' night at his on his tab? You're stupid. And the dudes who agree to these dates are stupid. Like, don't pay for it.
He didn't, and she mad, and basically
Bye,
had
sis.
posted out
You're
there.
not even an option. Goodbye, sis. Bye, girl. See you, Felicia. Out of here.
Oh goodness.
Why are the three of y'all at the place broke? Why is all three of y'all broke? I'm concerned that all of y'all want to get on one man's tab.
The question had even I think like under it, people was commenting, and she was all like, "Oh, a real man or a real gentleman would pay for all of us."
A real woman would have showed up by herself
Y'all.
since that's what the man thought he was taking out. Dummy. Oh, Lord, today. Help us, Lord. We all need a prayer.
They're gonna be
Ooh,
like, why you looking at my friend like that? I seen you look at her.
Dumb. Why'd you bring her, stupid? Why'd you bring her?
Diggity. Okay.
said brought two friends with her, two friends, y'all. It's like we all going on this date with me.
I'm
Okay,
offended by that whole scenario. He was a good one to sit for the meal, because there's no way that I would have stayed. And when I seen this young lady, is what I'll call her very loose term young lady, bringing her friends along. As soon as she came in with a crew, I would have took my drink or whatever I had already present, and I would have took my ticket and got up out of there without a hello or a goodbye.
I feel like there may be more to the story than what she's saying.
She wasn't interested. Here's the story, guys. Let's just tell the truth right now. If you are a woman who's genuinely interested in a man, there is no way on God's green earth, honey, that she's gonna bring two of her friends with her. Now, what she thought about you was you were a simp and somebody she felt like she could take advantage of. So not only was she gonna have you buy her drinks and food for the night, but she's gonna make you pay for her friends as well for her time and attention, because she ain't that into you. So if you get done like this, fellas, please take your check and get up out of there as quick as possible, because sis don't like you. The end.
How do we know it's a blind date? Like, she could have got catfished before. She like, yo, I ain't getting catfished again. So I'm gonna need you to, come with me. I don't know.
But have your friends somewhere in the, you know what I'm saying? Like, why would
You
they
wouldn't
be
have
there?
them paying for you wouldn't have dude paying for their food and
Nah,
drinking.
Right. She mad because he didn't pay for nobody's food but his. And that's the thing, like, if I didn't feel comfortable or something, like, if I brought some friends, they would have probably been, like, over there. You know what I'm saying? If it was a situation where I'm like, am I going to get catfish? Am I getting pumped? You know what I mean? Whatever. That's the only way I think that I, even with have some friends. I've never been in this situation for real, but other than that, it's just, wow. Yeah. Anyway,
A big no. Stupid.
So this is that question I was telling y'all about. It says, is asking your favorite color considered lame conversation?
No, I think that somebody that, because they might want to actually, it may not be a whole conversation about it, but it'll be like a conversation point, like a icebreaker. We do icebreakers at work when we are getting to know the company that we're going to work for, different things like that. I think that's a good idea to do that. asking
You might
because
be like, fine, yeah, with your favorite color.
thank you, because my birthday coming up, so I want my, whoever this
Jeez, like these women is.
ask me
I'm
questions.
sorry, some.
I'm just baffled at the things that are plaguing people's minds. You're worried about whether you should ask a woman her favorite color. The answer is, do you like her enough to know?
Mm.
Because a man who is genuinely interested in a woman wants to know everything about her.
Yep,
Mhm.
facts.
He want to know
I
the
mean, I
size
guess
of
it's
her
important to
socks.
find out my color because that's that ended up being my ring color.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hello, church. All I'm saying is the ones who want to know about the woman that they're, think about a man who's been so interested in you. You were like, dang, you want to know that? Like, they really want to get in there. They want to know how close you are to your family. They want to know what your favorite color is. They want to know. Shoot, these days they want to know what your moon and rising signs are and all that type of stuff. If they're really into you, they want to know all types of things about you if they're really genuinely interested. And maybe the favorite color is a small question, but if a man showed up at your door with a dozen roses in your favorite color because he happened to know what it is,
Come on now.
then you'll be impressed by it because you'll be like, wow, you remembered that small, tiny
That
detail
part.
about me.
Because
Exactly.
it's the small
Exactly.
things. It's the small things that matter. Not all these grand.
Exactly.
I mean, the grand stuff matter too, but that small
Hmm.
stuff, it does something to a woman of substance. Okay, I'm
Yeah, it
leave that
does.
alone.
Period.
Yeah.
And that's
Leave
it.
that alone.
Amen. Amen. When a woman say, "I'm looking for a partner," understand she is low key emasculating men. Do you ladies agree?
No, that's stupid.
I disagree with that freaking foolery. Who the hell wrote that?
No.
Who? Jesus. Who wrote that?
I'm just reading the questions, lady. I'm just reading the questions.
I need the next time you ask these questions, I need to at somebody. I need to at this person. I need to respond directly to this person. All right,
Oh
let's call him
goodness.
John. John wants to know this. John,
We're gonna call y'all all the way out next time.
look, yeah, I want
Oh
to just reach
goodness.
out to him and tell him, hey, John, hey, you're dumb. Okay. I hate to call people stupid because you're not supposed to say stuff like that. It's not right. But I feel like a lot of people are so emotionally immature these days that it's just foolery to me. It's like, this is this dumb conversation. This is why the relationships ain't working because this is what we got to pick from. If I'm out
Mhm.
here intellectual, emotionally mature, and ready to have a real relationship, this can't be what we're talking about here. It's just petty. It's childish. I need you to
Mhm.
be in tune enough. Take some time for you to develop your own um, sense of self-worth and all of that stuff before you try to interject yourself in a relationship. And that way some of these things that are you're making an issue wouldn't even be an issue because people don't know how to love themselves first. You're hopping from Amy to Karen to Susan, and then you're mad that everybody acts the same. But when did you take the time to let God lead you to somebody? I'm tired.
Mm. Yes. There you go. Yes, sister.
That part.
There you go. Oh, okay. Well, why do women have a problem with their man having a side piece when, oh, excuse me, but don't want to have sex every day?
Hold on, what? What's the question?
I keep looking up for somewhere to go.
Oh, somewhere on the
Why
ground.
do women have a problem with their man having a side piece, but they don't want to have sex every day?
For, okay, again. Okay, now we're on God's sex and love. So I'm gonna make this
We are.
plain. Okay?
Uh-huh.
In the confines of marriage, my if I'm married, right? I'm not married for
Hmm.
those that want to know, Regina is unmarried. She's a whole person though, right?
Hmm.
So okay, moving on along. My body belongs to my husband body belongs to me, right?
Amen.
If
I love
I'm
that
not
part of the
married,
Bible.
guess who my body belongs to? You know what? I ain't fooling with you. Um, if I'm not married, my body belongs to the Lord. Period. So
Mm.
the individual that, and I pray that this person is not saved that asked that question, because my question to you is, sir, well, how was your relationship with God? Maybe you're treating God like a side piece, and that's why you're mad. Maybe that's why you can't commit, because any man that needs to have a side piece to a relationship where he says, "Oh, she's my everything, she's my all in all, she's this, she's that," but you creeping behind her, then
Mm-hmm.
you don't value that relationship, nor do you value that person. A
Exactly.
woman is going to get upset just like a man is going to be upset if he found out that she had a side piece, because it's supposed to be you and me. If this is a partnership,
Mm-hmm.
then it's you and me, not somebody else. But I need for us to get to the place where we stop acting like we're married in these relationships. Your
Yeah.
boyfriend is not your husband. Your girlfriend is not your wife.
Yeah.
And I wish I could go back to my 25-year-old self and say this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
that's where the problem is.
Look, the jamming in the middle of the jamming.
Listen, honey, if you don't want to be exclusive, that is fine, because I would rather break up with you than to marry you and have to divorce you.
Right. Right.
That part.
Yeah.
That, that-
You want to touch something, touching on it, you touching on it. But she's like, nah, I ain't
I
got
just
time
want
for
to calm down. I just wanted to be calm. And I had the bankhead bounce to get it out of me. I had to bankhead bounce it out.
it. All right. Yes. I mean,
Because it's a
honestly,
foolish question, and we all know it was foolish when it got asked. But why would I want you to? That goes back to the beginning when we were talking about your bodies being a temple for the Lord. So
mm-hmm.
why do you prostitute God's temple?
Ooh, ooh,
Is my question.
ooh.
Maybe your question ain't about why I'm mad, but is God looking at you and smiling? Do you even care? And who defines your moral compass for me to want you to head my home
Mm.
when
My,
you
my,
don't even know how to make a situation brand new in this situation? Because I could be 10 different women for you, sweetie, if you knew how to work them.
Okay. Okay.
But if you need to go outside, it's only because you really, most men that go outside of their home to sleep around, just like he said, if the woman don't want to have sex every day, listen here, foolish. Maybe your sex ain't worth it every day. How about that? You thought about that?
maybe I'm menstruating. That's why.
Maybe it ain't even about you. Stop making it about us. It ain't about us. Menstruating or not, it's plenty of men who will lay a towel down. Now tell me I'm lying. Well,
You are.
therefore, it ain't about that. So what it is about is maybe she ain't interested in your magic stick because ain't nothing magic about it.
No.
Maybe that's why. Maybe she already knows. See, your new side piece don't know that it's trash yet. So she still got to experience it. And then once she experiences it, knowing that you're married to me, she just wants financial compensation. Because you can keep that magic stick. It ain't worth
The unmagic stick.
the unmagic stick.
Unmagic
Ooh, y'all. Oh Lord.
That's what a realness. That's what a realness.
Well, here's one. Here's a question. I think this is one of yours, Summers. It says, in 2021, is it still the greatest goal for a woman to be married?
It is. It is. Oh no, it's not for me anymore. No.
It still is for me.
I'm gonna tell you why. Let me say this, and I'm gonna make it very brief. This was my question. We were raised, all right, if you're, let's say, 40 and up, or close dead near there. In our childhood, we were raised to have characteristics of being a wife. So when I was coming up, that's all I wanted. I imagined myself as a wife with this great husband who was going to provide and do all these things. We're going to have these kids, and all of this family stuff. However, the part that they didn't tell you about was all the negative parts of marriage or the difficulties in marriage and all those things, and that marriage doesn't guarantee a long life with someone. And I'm speaking from experience because I got married at 19 and I got divorced when I was 24 years old. So, as a very young woman with 3 children and an ex-husband at 24, I just was like, you know what? That picket white fence is good for the fantasy, but is my end all be all about having a husband? No. My end all be all at this point in my life at 41 years old is for me to know myself, value myself, and live a life that's pleasing to God. That is my priority. And if I die without a husband and I do those things, I know that my life will be full and fulfilled because I'm doing what God put me here to do. See, my purpose might not be to be a wife. And if I put all of my eggs in that basket, when that doesn't happen, then I feel less than for all the other people who have a husband. But it's a lot of people out here with a husband and their husband don't like them.
My God.
They don't love them. And they sleeping with the sneaky links, like he just mentioned, the side pieces, and giving them all the attention. So do I just want to be married for the sake of marriage? Absolutely wrong. I want a man, if there is a partnership to come about for me in the remainder of my life, it will be somebody whose purpose is aligned with mine.
Come on.
Because then therefore we are able to make things happen more efficiently because we have the same alignment, which goes back to the equally yoked thing. You know, so that we can go ahead and make the kingdom's business happen.
Oh, can we stay right there for
come through?
Get your pillow and your blanket right there.
Listen, can we make this question the last question?
Let's come back to it.
Listen, there is so much to just unpack in that question and what Summer said. Summer brought up, and I was talking with someone the other day about that very thing, being equally yoked, right? So we think that men and women, whichever, think that being equally yoked, you know, it equals, okay, a believer and a believer. But you can have a believer and they still not even be equally yoked with you. You're not going the same way. He's going to be an astronaut. You going to be an apostle. You know, your destiny, it doesn't mix. It doesn't marry each other at all whatsoever. So therefore, there are people who are forging relationships, forging partnerships in order to say that they have somebody. And that is an absolute no-no, because we are here. The Lord wants us to be fruitful and multiply, making making others after our own kind and everything like that. Be fruitful and multiply, but it has to be productive. God doesn't want us producing things that are not productive. That's kind of contradictory, right? So for marriage, the point of marriage, which is the institution made by God, it's a covenant. And I think that if a lot of people understood and took the opportunity to understand really what marriage is, people wouldn't be so quick to go into it. A lot of people want the wedding, but a lot of people don't want the marriage. Mature, teachable, unselfish people are better to be married because they understand that you're going to have to sacrifice. There are things that come with that. And I was telling my brother, I said, you know, a lot of times women, because there are more women than there are to men, unfortunately, you know, and while there are still those of us who desire marriage, desire relationship, partnerships, and different things like that, unfortunately, it may not happen. You know, that's just a reality. But for those who, you know, like I know what God said to me about my situation, I'm cool with that. I'm like, okay, I'm expecting, you know, turn up. But for those, who are desiring marriage for the sake of just to say that they're married, that is so unhealthy. It's
Mm-hmm.
unhealthy because, to your point, Summer, there are people who are married to people who they don't even like the person that they're married to, and that's horrible. Like
Mm-hmm.
when I think about marriage, I think about, it. While yes, back then in the Old Testament, as my pastor had put it, it was a business transaction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it
It
was.
wasn't about if I liked you or not. It wasn't about if you got a big old butt, and all that. You working with it, sir. I see what you're working with. It was none of that. It
Mm-hmm.
was okay. We trying to keep this stuff in the family. Here's a dowry. All that different stuff. So maybe we need to go back to having arranged marriages. Just saying.
Oh man.
I wouldn't either. I'm
But
just saying
then,
that would be
but then
attractive.
that makes, to your point about the dowry and stuff. Uh, Now let's keep in mind, gentlemen, that the women didn't go up to the men and pay for them to come. The
Hello.
men had to bring money, gold, gifts, all of that to the families of the bride to prove to them that they can financially care for this woman and whatever prospective children they may have.
Mm-hmm.
That's why money's an issue.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Wow.
Well, y'all said y'all wanted to make that one the last one.
No, no, I'm saying like we can. It's a girl, this your show. It's up to
No,
you.
I mean, maybe y'all time. I mean, I know we done been over, technically the hour and that, but even GSL never had a timeline. Once we got off the network, we like, we just talk.
We'll just
So
wing it.
it really depends on the guest or whatnot. I mean, there's only a few more if you ladies want to still answer, but if y'all got to go, okay, all right, let's answer them then. Let's go. I think
I
it's
mean,
like
I
four or
might
five
pause
more.
my camera again to get some water. But
Look, I already took care of that. I got my little cup. I'm ready to go now.
Yes, there you go. All right, here's one. I don't know if y'all want to try to answer them fast. We can make a rapid fire or something if y'all, I don't know, just throwing that out here. What really is the most important quality you look for in a man?
I like this question. You want to go first, Gina?
oh God, the most important quality. I can only pick one.
You said only one. I mean, well, you need some more time to think about it. Because I
I
mean, well,
mean,
I can say what I was looking for, and it's not just one thing. It was like
mhm,
when I finally did start to narrow it down. Like I made a whole list. I did the list thing. I stand by the list
mhm,
thing because I think it does something when you write it all down and you see what you really want. I think that does something. So maybe that's that writing the vision and making it plain. I don't know, but
hey,
anyway,
you know,
so I did do that. But eventually, once I did narrow it down, I narrowed it down to like maybe I think it was four things, and it was like I want to have a spiritual connection, mental connection, physical connection, and there was one more. Well, let me just talk about them three then. I wanted those three connections basically, and so that's what I kind of ended up narrowing it down to for me personally. And I feel like I got that in a lot of ways. Like neither one of us are perfect individuals, whatever, but I do feel as if like my husband is perfect for me because I could just see in a lot of ways where we complement each other. We got differences about each other too,
Yes.
but we complement each other well in ways where it's like right now, I feel like we're having a lot of conversations that I have no clue if I'll be able to have these conversations with someone else, or just the support that he gives to all the things I do and just stuff like that. It's just,
Amen.
again, when you're not, I guess, like I said, physically, spiritually, and physical, spiritually, and whatever the last one I just said, sorry.
mental.
When I didn't have all three of those things, it was like if I had two and didn't have all four or whatever it was at the time, it just it didn't mesh, like it didn't work. Because if I couldn't didn't have the communication or the physical, but then we had just this, it just didn't line up. It just didn't work out like with those type of people. So yeah, have I gave y'all time to say y'all?
I already knew what I wanted to say. I just was trying to be great, gracious to not be talking too much on your show. Um,
We love you, Summer. We love both you ladies. Summer and Regina dropping gems
You know
on
I'm
today.
crazy. However, the most important thing to me at 41, it wasn't what was important to me at 24. Let me first say that. Um, but today, I feel like the most important thing for me, and I'm just gonna pick one, is for you to be emotionally healed.
Mm.
Because that one little thing seemed like it ain't that big of a deal, but it's huge. Because if I am not over my childhood traumas or my traumas from previous relationships, that is going to make a spiral of different problems in the relationship. Everything's going to be revolving around this hurt and pain that you have not addressed. So I feel like every other thing is something we could work through. Even if we, like, you could be Muslim and I'm a Christian, I can still get past that. Because if we are sharing a God, emotion, I don't need you to believe exactly the way I believe, is what I'm trying to say, to be with you. I need us to agree on certain things. Like, if you believe there is a God, that's important to me, rather than you being an atheist and saying that God does not exist. That wouldn't work for me.
How do
But
you doubt somebody that you say that don't exist? Like, you're not an atheist. You're just in denial.
right. But I'm saying, like, that wouldn't work for me, because we would have problems with me spiritually connecting with you when you feel like you got here all on your own accord. However, it's things like that. But if you never got over the heartbreak you had in 8th grade from the chocolate girl, and now you hate all chocolate girls because the 8th grade girl never dated you, I need you to move on. Sir, what's not clicking, Stephen? I need you to heal. Because if you're not healed, you're going to bring all that ugly energy into our connection. And then if anything, like for men who say they don't date women who are heavy or stupid, to me, which is stupid things. Like, everybody's body is made differently, and our bodies are going to change throughout our lifetimes, things like that. For you to not deal with your mess, that's a big issue for me, because God loves us all regardless, but I don't love us all regardless. And said it, and will stand on it, and will land a private plane on it. Because I'm telling you, I want somebody who feels whole already, not like I'm the piece to complete him. Because if I'm the piece that completes you, you are codependent on everything I do. And when I don't do exactly what you think I should be doing at that time, in that moment, then I'm doing something to you that you deem as bad or wrong or not loving. But I remain that if I'm made in God's image, and God is always a part of me, and nothing can separate me from him or him from me, then I gotta put me first. Because putting me first is saying that I'm acknowledging the God in me and the healing that God is directing me to for within myself. And then you can come along and add to my happiness or my wholeness or whatever. You're supposed to be the sprinkle of, seasoning on me, not the whole meal and plate.
My.
Ladies and gentlemen, Summer Sales.
Get your healing.
Get your healing.
Wow. I have to say, the one thing for me, it always, but to me, I love God, and of course the man that's for me. Like, boo, you better have a prayer life, and this is what I'm saying. But communication for me is the biggest thing. It's so big. It trumps everything else, because without that communication, out, and I'm saying outside of the relationship with God, because if you ain't got a relationship with God, you ain't dating me anyway. Just put that out there. But communication has so much to filter through it, because to Summer's point, that emotional healing, or those who they've unfortunately they've suppressed it for so long, they don't even realize that they have emotional trauma and pain until something happens, and then boop, and it blows up, right? So communication actually is a leveling field to me, where all things can be explored and all things can be explained. So if we take the opportunity to really, if men would understand the value of communication, but as women, we have to be mindful too, to when they are vulnerable, to not put them in a position where they don't want to ever be vulnerable again. Because it takes a lot for a man to be vulnerable, because they say that if you cry, if you do this, if then you a punk, you a female, you a sissy, all those different things that they get called, these names that they get labeled as, and it causes them, honestly, to not even go through the work of healing emotionally. So sometimes it does take a woman that I would say has the grace to be able to handle that. And I definitely don't, I'm not signing up to be nobody's mama, like they second mother or whatever the case is. Now that part I will not do. But I understand as a woman that we are natural nurturers. When you give us something, we incubate it and we spit it out, because that's just how we do what we do. But for me, absolutely hands down, communication. That's a number one. If your communication sucks, it's not gonna last long. And I got some people that'll tell you that.
That's for
Okay.
real.
That was a
Yeah.
good question.
It was. I like that
Pretty
one.
good right now. That was pretty good. Let's see. Why can't we normalize women, especially black women, living in luxury?
My
That was
question.
Summer's other question. So we got to it, sis. We got to it.
I
Why
just
can't we
want to know.
normalize it? Well, okay, let me go and touch on what I
Like,
was going to touch
did
on
the
earlier.
dudes
Okay, so listen. Oh,
did
wait.
the dudes not did the dudes not answer this question?
Oh no, so I ended up just throwing it in our questions. My bad. I didn't put
I
this
just
out there
want to
first. You want
know
me to put
that
it?
from the guys. Like, if like maybe we could touch on this another time. But I would
Okay.
like to know why is our value as women, and I'm only saying especially black women, because of I feel personally, there may be some who disagree, but they're probably not black women. But that we have had to do a greater deal of suffering. Um,
Mhm.
Not to sound mean to other women, not that all women shouldn't get to enjoy luxury. I'm not saying that, but I will say white women have already enjoyed that. Um, Now there are other women who have not, but I can't speak to all of those other women, because once they come to this country, the women who get shunned for wanting more and value out of their life are black women, in my opinion. When we want a nice purse, somebody got a problem with it. When we want to go have a massage in the middle of the day, somebody got a problem with it. If we want to go out for wine and oysters in the middle of the afternoon, somebody has a problem with it. And I would like to know why y'all got a problem with it. Why do y'all have a problem with us living a life of luxury? We weren't put here to serve everybody and live and die as the cooks and cleans and the counselors for everybody, and not get one thing of excitement, joy, and fun for ourselves. That's not happening.
Mm.
So why can't we normalize that? I just want to know, if men want to have an angel in their home, then why you can't create heaven? Just want to know.
Well, I'm
Hmm.
going to put this out there to the men folk. I'll post it in multiple places, and I'll let you know what kind of responses we get. We're gonna put that to the side and let you. You can say something if you want to, Regina, but I'm just gonna. I'm gonna put that out there for you, sis. I'm gonna try to find out what the
I mean,
men
I
folk
think
got
that
to
it
say.
I
What
just
should.
people
want to
got to
know.
say
Should
today.
be normalized and without having to compromise ourselves too.
Hmm.
Not putting ourselves in compromising positions, not sitting up here being on these different shows and stuff like that, which a further enables, not enables, but further um,
Degrade.
Downgrades are
downgrades us, but it also elaborates the stereotype.
Hmm.
yes.
I just I don't get how women are okay with that. I don't get it. But then too, I don't get why, people do what they do, period. People filming each other fighting, you know, th- some dumb
Right.
stuff. Like, really? Let's get real here. We been through enough?
That's all I'm saying.
Haven't we been through enough? Okay, this seems like it might be petty. I'm not even sure how the question goes, but I'm gonna try to read it to y'all. It says, ladies, at what point do y'all feel like, excuse me, what point do y'all feel that maybe y'all should put forth some effort? Or all y'all, oh no, excuse me, are all y'all gonna expect us to do everything with no reciprocation or reward? I don't know where they're coming from. I don't know what all they're doing,
I'm just
but
gonna say it sounds like a man who doesn't know how to set clear boundaries for himself. And so that's not my fault as the woman. Now, if you don't say these are what I expect and then ask somebody to abide by those boundaries, then I guess you can't be mad if somebody's not upholding whatever you feel like is inappropriate treatment for yourself. And the moment that you notice you're in a relationship with somebody who doesn't respect that, break up. Then
what?
There's so much that I could say to that.
then
Um, I'll just say, for me, I, everybody's different. Everybody, I believe, at some point in their life, if not current, definitely past, has experienced a level of rejection. Kind of, we talked about that earlier with rejection. Um, I feel that it should be equal on both ends as far as the effort that's put forth. But if you know that you don't want to be in an exclusive relationship and you know that she does, then what's the point, like, of even asking that question? Because my
Hmm.
efforts are towards relationship, building a relationship and a partnership, being married, different things like that.
Hmm. Hmm.
So my effort is not going to go towards you, sir, if all you want to do is sling your, into somebody. I ain't the one. So that effort ain't gonna happen. But as far as like letting you know, hey, I'm interested in you, yeah, I'm gonna let that happen regardless if I get rejected or not. At least I put it out there. But
what
I
effort are they wanting? I'm confused at what effort they feel like isn't being reciprocated.
I
Let's
don't
bookmark that for
know.
later
Like,
another time too.
that's
Yeah,
what I want to know.
yeah.
Like, what effort are you talking about, sir? Because at the end of the day, I think we put a lot of effort out there, but we also ain't gonna be looking desperate.
Well,
That's
and also who you trying to talk to?
right.
Are you trying to get effort from the Instagram hottie who has plenty of
Ah,
people hitting her up?
we're gonna be putting in all the work.
Because the women who really want to give you the effort are the ones that you deem not good enough for you because she ain't fine enough or she ain't whatever. So maybe it's that you looking for effort from somebody who you ain't nothing but one in 1,000.
Well, ladies, we're on our last question of the evening. Ah, I so enjoyed this time with you all. I do.
I did
It
too.
says, why do some women paint all men to be the
I'll go first this
Uh,
time, so I'll go first. Um, I would have to go with, well, the reality of it is that to some degree you have done something to remind us of somebody or something that has happened. I don't think that all women do it. I do think that there are women who just refuse to believe that all men are not the same. I guess I'm a rarity because I believe that all men are not the same. Because the thing is that if you call a man a dog, then what does that make you, woman, who says that about men, right?
mhm. Okay.
So my thought process is this: when we get on this subject about, men being all the same, men do that to women too. I mean, and I'll just be real brief. That happened to me not too long ago. Like, that's hurtful. You you're getting all of this energy from me, right? You're getting all these assets, right? And then all of a sudden I'm deemed a liability because I reminded you of such and such. Everybody
Mm,
is not the same. Just because I did or said something to remind you, so that's the same as, you know, same thing for men.
Mhm.
If we do something to them that reminds them, then that's gonna happen. And the same thing for us. If they do something to us that reminds us of what we've been through, it's not that we haven't healed from it. It's not that we haven't moved on from it or anything like that. It's just we're not designed to forget. God does that. Okay, He's designed.
mm,
He is God. He forgets. He casts things
mm,
in the sea of forgetfulness.
right.
We, but I have the decision. Now, get this though. I have the decision to say, okay, you're not this person. So let's have a conversation, which why communication is so important. Because without communication on this, especially stuff like this, you'll never know. I didn't know that 10 years ago that girl slammed the door in your face and it hit you in the, hit your nose, or I don't know. Like, let's
Yeah.
be realistic here. But like I said earlier, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. It has to be, we got to stop with these double standards and stereotypes, man. We got to stop.
Yeah, that's true. I would just say I need us to just like go back to the drawing board. Just start over from scratch. Cause I don't think that everyone is saying that all men are the same,
Right.
but I do believe that both men and women are using some of the same standards
Mm.
um against each other. Um, like for example, when we were talking about men being promiscuous and that being acceptable, and if you get a crowd of men in the room and nobody combats that thought and says, "Hey, nah, man, that ain't cool," you know, that you have this pursuit of different women, you know, more men and more women need to stand up for what's right, because not who's right, is what's right. And it's not right for you to be a man who wants to high five another man for cheating on his wife and being a loose cannon out here in the street.
Ooh.
And then you get mad that a woman is telling you you just like him. Would I not say that uh, if you purr like a cat to a cat, if you use the litter box and you eat cat food, are you not a cat? Or are you just acting like a cat? I mean, what are we doing here?
This
So
cat
I,
dog.
I want to say that you're different. I do. I want to say that. But if you say, "Oh, I agree 100% with what everybody else is doing," it makes you more of a puppet or a follower than it is a standalone object. So if I want to look at you as the exception and not the rule,
Mm.
then I need to see some differences in you that will make me separate you from the masses. Otherwise, you are like what you believe in. don't we follow our leaders? If you're a Christian, isn't the idea to be Christ-like, which means I'm a follower of Christ, meaning that I'm going to operate in the mannerisms and the thought processes of this individual doctrine? So
Mm-hmm.
if you're going to say, "Oh, I'm different, but I agree with all the things that everybody else agrees with," I can't separate you.
Mm. What are you doing to be different, sir?
Mm. I know Miss
Do
Stephanie
different to
Porter
be
said
different, baby.
excellent point. I put her comment on the screen there. She was
Hey,
saying that
Stephanie, how
for
you
you
doing,
ladies.
girl, and stuff?
So, well, all I gotta say is, I mean, I think it kind of goes back to what someone was saying earlier with the other response. People that are truly putting people in categories and feeling like everybody's the same, whether you man or woman. If you're saying all women are the same or all men are the same, then you're probably not healed. Something is not allowing you to see that, like Ms. Regina was just saying, everybody's different. And for me, again, that was one thing I can agree with Regina on. Like, I had to look at guys as being different. Now, there's some things, don't get me wrong. Again, there's some things that I'm still processing when it comes to that. Because maybe for this might be TMI. Like, okay, for example, there's some things that my husband likes, right? And I'm over here like, I didn't think men liked it. Like, I thought you would like something else. Like, but again, he's him. You know what I mean? He is an individual, and I got to look at him like that. I can't sit here and expect him to like what I think men like or whatever, because they're not in one category. And so that can go, I guess, on positives and negatives. Like, that might be a positive situation for me to know that, okay, my man's like this in particular, and maybe he doesn't like this so much, even though I thought men like that, or whatever.
Yeah.
But from the perspective of feeling as if, oh well, all men are dogs, like you ladies were saying, or those type of phrases, shows that there's something maybe within you that isn't
Mm.
healed to allow you to see that, hey, no, everybody is different. Again, if I had that mindset, I probably wouldn't be here sitting in this situation right now, married and whatnot, because I was in a situation with a previous guy that, it was very different from my husband and whatnot. But if I'm going to believe that all men are the same, when my husband came along, I probably would have just, oh, all men are the same. You're a dog, and treating him like that when he was nothing like that. So, um, and I guess that's the thing that happens. If you treat everyone like they're the same, then, or if you feel like you keep meeting the same type of people, then maybe that's something again within you that is allowing you, like, keep going towards the same type of
Yeah.
individuals, because everybody's different. And so if you keep,
Right.
that's
And
all. That's it. I think I said it. I think I said it.
Miracle, if I may add this last point,
Mm-hmm.
the one thing that came to me as you were talking is that, especially for a believer, now this is God, sex, and love, right?
Yes, it is.
So because of the fact that we have all of this stuff going on, especially this last question that we just had. Hi, Stephanie. Um, I think that it's very important as believers that we understand and grab hold of the scripture that says, "Behold, all things have become new, all things have passed away," right? Because if we're going to walk in the newness of Christ, walk in the newness of who we are in God, walk in the newness and obtain what God has for us and who God has for us, then we have to take on that mindset. We have to renew our minds on a daily. We have to stop rehearsing old habits and old things. This is
Mm-hmm.
why the perpetual cycle of all women and all men are the same is because we have not grasped on to the goodness and the newness of the Lord. And I'll end on that note.
Girl, if
And
you ain't said a word, you said one. And
yes.
that's why I say, just on that, just alone, you are supposed to love your neighbor as unto yourself. So if I'm
Mm-hmm.
meeting a lot of people who are mistreating me, I would say you're probably experiencing some form of representation of your love for yourself, and it probably is lacking because people treat you how you allow them to treat you. If everybody treats you like crap, it's probably because you've shown them that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Mm,
There you go, man. Listen,
that's heavy.
tonight was all about men ask, women answer. I believe you women done showed up and showed out on tonight and done answered all the questions in my little jar. I was like, they all got
That's
answers.
right,
And we got one that we're gonna put out there to the public and get the people to answer. People, y'all
I
gonna have to
just
answer
want to
this
know what
question.
they think about it. Like, why we gotta suffer forever? Like, does our race the only one that gotta suffer? Like, and that's not to look to anybody else that's of any other race. Please don't get me wrong when I'm saying what I'm saying. All women deserve luxury and to be treated well. I will
Mm-hmm.
say that and make sure I'm clear.
Mm-hmm.
But specifically, I find that when black women do it, it's more of a issue
Mm-hmm.
or a negative than it is a positive. And I just would like to know who decided we were supposed to suffer forever.
Well, we're gonna find out. We're gonna see what the people say. I definitely let you know what responses we get. Ladies, I truly enjoyed talking to you all this evening. Thank you all so much. Those of you all that watched us live the entire time, thank you all for sticking it out with us. You guys are the real MVPs. Thank you to Miss Stephanie Porter for commenting and throwing some comments up for us tonight and tuning in live. For those that watch afterwards, I mean, I hope that you all, receive something from these questions and answers today. I mean, there was some foolery in there, but I mean, I think we handled it all with grace and everything. And so, till next time, ladies, you all, these are panel people, so y'all gonna see these faces more. We got to get the panels back going, right? We got to get the panels back going. So, I appreciate you ladies for taking out the time. I thank you ladies so much for answering the call. And till next time, everyone. And ladies, do you guys have any final thoughts? Any things you would like to say before we go?
No, but I do need some nails, some polish. You see, I'm blank. And I need some lip gloss because you blinging and I'm not. So let's get it all
Look,
in
she's
there,
shouting out my
okay?
business endeavors. Let me put this up. Look,
Color Street,
unwindselfcare.com.
Color Street nails, and I do need some Miracle of Wine because um, chat's done and glass is empty. So
I should.
that part.
Look, don't worry, sis. I got you too, Regina. We got some sparkling grape juice on the site now too. You know
Thank
what I
you,
mean? That's
thank
on
you, thank you.
miracleofwine.com. But we just throwing out all the business endeavors for those that want to, help us out with their black. Consider me for your Black Friday
Absolutely.
things. Thanks, sis. I wish I had your website up here, man. This lady right here, she does events, art, paint sips, and all that good stuff. Tell us
Yeah.
about your business endeavors. And yeah, if you want to shout some stuff out, Regina, too, go ahead, take some time.
Oh, I wish I could throw that little thing up there, but however, I am
Yeah.
your paint and sip extraordinaire person, and you can go to SKAIZ. We're gonna put it in the comments because it's long. I don't know. I didn't think about that at the time when I named it, but it's called Skies Designs. I do art, paint and sip parties, and I'm also a Reiki energy healer. So, for all those self care needs, I do massage, spiritual health and wellness, all of those things. So definitely check me out. I'll drop all of that information below for us to check into later.
All right, I'm gonna try to make a thing real quick. Do you have anything, Miss Regina, you want to shout out?
Uh, I'm working on my book. Yay!
Yes.
That's all I
Look, we
got.
all authors and entrepreneurs around here, man. I love my authors and entrepreneurs now. And look, these books is coming out this year, man. I'm telling you,
Trying to get her
2021 has been
done.
amazing.
Sitting on two of them, Miracle. Sitting on two books. Need to get them done.
Oh, I got
Oh,
a book
yes,
too.
yes.
I
Well, let me know
forgot
if you
about my
need any
book.
assistance or anything like that.
Oh,
How
I'm
to
gonna
make
get
Yes,
money on
she has a journal
Amazon.
out as well.
Yes, it is out.
This is some
Please go get your
information, Sky's
copy.
Design,
It is the
y'all.
self-love journal. All of that stuff will be thank you, Miracle. She's gonna put that stuff up so that we can follow along. Please get that journal if you need just like some helpful guidelines on how to love yourself better. And then I think if you got let's understand this is not a woman's book. This is a everybody book, okay? Because we all need to learn ways to love ourselves better. And a lot of those questions would have been eliminated had we known how to love ourselves a lot differently.
Mm,
in the
mm.
first place.
There you
So
go.
check me out. It's How to Love Me on Amazon. I'll give her the info. Sky's Designs for your art, Reiki healing, all of that stuff. We got you.
There you go, y'all. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. As you ladies, what ladies and gents can see, these ladies got a lot of things going and popping, so be on the lookout to see them more on GSL. Like I said, we got to get these panel discussions back. If you all enjoyed the panel discussion tonight, throw up some hearts, throw some likes, put some comments, say, hey, keep doing the panel discussions. Let us know how you all feel about everything. I guess look, the men folk got to redeem themselves in the panel because listen, the women
Because
are
Yeah.
y'all was
doing
a
it.
hot
The women
mess.
are
With
doing
that
it.
heat, with
Yeah,
that
it
smoke.
was terrible.
Came with all the smoke.
Y'all know I can talk to y'all all night, so I'm gonna let the other people go though. Thank
All
y'all so
right,
much for
take
tuning
care.
in.
Thank you for having me on as usual.
Thank you, Miracle.
Yes. Oh, love you, ladies. I'm gonna tell everybody bye. Bye, y'all. Y'all can check out
Bye.
Regina.
Nice to meet you, Gina.
Nice to meet you too.
All right, till
Look at
next
that.
time.
Look. I've been talking for years. This meant tonight. Y'all can look up everything about us on GodSexandLove.com. All right. Good night.
Good night.
Right.